Hello all of you. Now the next chapter is audit. Audit is your bread and butter. And in GST, there are two types of audits. One is audit by the tax authorities, section 65. And second is special audit under section 66. So let's see both these sections. They are very simple sections. First is 65, the authorities. The commissioner and the proper officer authorized by the commissioner can conduct audit of transactions of the registered persons. Whoever is a registered person, his transactions can be checked by the commissioner or by any authorized officer authorized by the commissioner. And the commissioner may issue general or specified order to such officer to conduct audit. The time for the audit is, as per the assessment and audit rules, Rule 101, period of audit under subsection 165 shall be financial year or multiples thereof. So it can be for 1 year or it can be multiple years taken together. The frequency and the manner of conducting such audit are yet to be prescribed. It is important to note that the said order of commissioner may be specific to the auditee and the tax period selected for the audit. So the order will specify which assessee you have to audit and what period. Absence, error and deficiency in such order aborts any preparatory step taken by the audit officer and preparation to respond taken by the auditee. Means if the order is not correct, if it is erroneous, then it will abort. Abort means it will cancel out the whole procedure of audit. Then place of conducting audit will be place of business of the registered person or office of the tax authorities. So he can either call records or he can come and check at your place. Intimation of audit is to be issued to the taxable person at least 15 days in advance. At least 15 days in advance in ADT 1 form number. And the audit must be completed within 3 months from the date of commencement of audit, which may be extended by the commissioner, of course, for reasons to be recorded in writing, by further periods not exceeding 6 months. So extension can be granted by further periods not exceeding 6 months. And date of commencement of audit shall mean the date on which the records and other documents called for by the tax authorities are made available. Made available. So the commencement is not when they give you the notice, but when you comply with that notice, or the actual institution of the audit at a place of business, whichever is later. Means if they call the records, then it will be from the day when you submit the records, or if they come to your place to do audit, then the day when they start the audit, whichever is later. And during the course of the audit, the authorized officer may require the registered person to afford him the necessary facility to verify the books of accounts and other information, and also to furnish the required information and render assistance for timely completion of the audit. So he may call for all the facilities, including the passwords of your electronic records. And power of commissioner or the officer while conducting audit. As per the GST rules on assessment and audit, the proper officer shall verify the documents on the basis of which the accounts are maintained and the periodical returns, statements, etc. The proper officer while conducting the audit is authorized to verify the books and records, returns and statements, correctness of turnover, exemptions and deductions, rate of tax applicable in respect of supply of goods or service or both, the input tax credit claimed, availed, unutilized and refund claimed. Best practices to be adopted for GST audit among others could be evaluation of the internal control vis-a-vis the GST would indicate the area to be focused. This could be done by verifying the statutory audit report. All this is audit language and I don't teach audit, right? So anyways, internal control will be checked, the statutory audit report will be checked, which has specific disclosure needs in regard to maintenance of record stock and fixed assets. Then information systems audit report and internal audit report. Then internal control questionnaire designed for GST compliance. The use of generalized audit software to aid the GST audit work would ensure modern practice of risk-based audit are adopted. The reconciliation of books of accounts or reports from the ERPs to the return is imperative. Reconciliation karo, books of accounts and the ERP returns. Then the review of the gross trial balance for detecting any income being set off with expense. Review of purchase or expense to examine applicability of reverse charge. The foreign exchange outgo reconciliation would also be necessary for identifying the liability of imports of service, because import of service is covered by reverse charge. Then quantitative reconciliation of stock transfer within the state or for supplies to job workers under exemption. Then ratio analysis could provide the vital clues. All these simple points. And completion of the audit. On audit completion, the information is required to be provided to the registered person, including the findings during the audit in accordance with Rule 101.5 within 30 days of conclusion of the audit. And in case where the tax liability is identified during the audit or input tax credit wrongly availed or utilized by the auditee, the procedure laid down in section 73 and 74 is to be followed. These two sections we'll study in lectures to come. They are the recovery sections. Given here in brief but of no use, we'll study them in detail. Then audit cannot conclude automatically, resulting in the demand. This is important. Audit cannot result in demand. Audit can only identify the places. Then the actual assessments have to be done. Section 73 and 74 have to be followed, and then the demand notice can be issued. So that is the departmental audit, and 66 is then the special audit. So it says any officer not below the rank of assistant commissioner can, with prior approval of commissioner, direct such taxable person by communication writing to get his accounts audited by a chartered accountant or a cost accountant as may be nominated by the commissioner. So this is where you can get your bread and butter. And the circumstances under which special audit can be directed: if at any stage of scrutiny, inquiry, investigation or any other proceeding before him, any officer not below the rank of EC, Assistant Commissioner, having regard to the nature and complexity of the case and interest of revenue. These are the important words. Theoretical question will come and you have to write these words. Nature and complexity of the case and interest of revenue, is of the opinion that the value has been, underline, value has been not fully or correctly declared, or the credit availed is not within the normal limits. So there are two purposes of audit: the value and the ITC basically. So one is the value has not been correctly declared, or the credit has not been within the limits. It is exorbitant. You have taken excessive ITC. He may, with the prior approval of the commissioner, direct such taxable person by communication in writing to get his records, including books of accounts, examined and audited by chartered accountant or cost accountant, as may be nominated by the commissioner. So after you become CA, the first thing you do is to go to GST commissioner and get yourself registered there. And then whenever the commissioner wants to get any accounts audited, he will inform you and appoint you. Then the chartered accountant or the cost accountant so nominated shall within the period of 90 days, underline 90 days, submit the audit report, okay, signed and certified by him, to the said assistant commissioner, mentioning therein such other particulars as may be specified. So apart from the normal audit report, you will also mention other things that were specified to you. Provided that the assistant commissioner may, on the application made to him in this behalf by the registered person or the CA, or CA means chartered or cost accountant, or for any material and sufficient reasons, extend the said period by further period of 90 days. So it can be 90 plus extension of 90. Then some important points are that the provisions of subsection 1 shall have effect notwithstanding that the accounts of the registered person have been audited under any other provision of this act, like we had seen earlier, the normal audit, that is the 2 crores based audit, or any other law for the time in force. So even if the assessee has already got his accounts audited under this act or any other law for the timing in force, this special audit can still be called for. Okay. Then the registered person shall be given opportunity of being heard in respect of any material gathered on the basis of special audit which is proposed to be used in the proceeding under the act or the rules made thereunder. Means whatever information has been unearthed, if that is to be used against the assessee, then opportunity of being heard has to be given. Then expenses of examination and audit, who will bear the expense? And who will bear the fees of the chartered accountant or the cost accountant? So it says, including the remuneration of the chartered or cost accountant shall be determined and paid by the commissioner, and such determination shall be final. So it is to be paid by the government, you can say, not by the assessee. And where the special audit conducted under 1 results in detection of tax not paid or short paid or erroneously refunded, or input tax credit wrongly availed or utilized, the proper officer may initiate action under section 73 or 74. These are recovery sections. Simple. So as I said, this is very simple. One short question you can expect 2 to 3 marks maximum, not more than that.